The Braves are off today, but the Braves media team doesn't rest. Welcome into the first episode of Bravos Banter, a Braves podcast. I'm Calvin Christoforo, joined by my good friend and the team's beat writer, Nick Galle. Nick, what's going on, buddy?
Dude, it's hot today.
It
I'm
is?
sweating. It's terrible.
It is.
It's
We thought
terrible.
we would, just fill in some gaps, talk about the Braves here on the Braves Off Day, get a podcast going, catch you up to date on where the Braves are. Braves coming off a 3-game sweep of Hyannis after the loss in Chatham on Sunday. The Braves, they took care of business with the Harbor Hawks coming into this 3-game set. Hyannis was 2-14, so you looked on paper and said, these are 3 very winnable games, but, baseball's not like that. Hyannis really made it close in all 3 games, and the Harbor Hawks really had a shot to win at least one of those games, so kudos to the Braves for winning all 3 of those games, all highly contested, all very good baseball games, but the Braves handled their business and came out with a 3-game sweep.
Yeah, I'll say this. What shocked me, which I really should have known heading into the 3-game series, but Hyannis is pitching. They're starting pitching.
Good.
Let me emphasize that. They're starting pitching. Amazing. And we
Yeah.
saw it opening night too. They held Bourne scoreless for 8 innings. Bourne wasn't able to put their first run on the board until the 8th.
Yeah.
And in this 3-game series, game 1, Braves kind of had that handled, but games 2 and 3, I mean, they were very, very close. And Bourne really could not figure things out through the first half of each of those games. And luckily, they came through once the bullpen came in. They very easily got to the bullpen. But kudos to Hyannis' starting pitching because, I mean, it's been pretty good when we've seen them at Doran Park or out in Hyannis. So it's been impressive. McKeon.
There you go. I was waiting. There we go. What?
McKeon Park, right?
McKeon Park, yeah.
There's too many fields in this league. I know there's just 10, but that's too many for me.
Yep, there's 10.
That's too many for me. But yeah, it's pretty impressive that the Braves came out and swept this series because I know they're not a good team on paper, but as you mentioned, still very hard to sweep, especially in a league like this.
Yeah, they were great, and they had to come back in both games. The last 2 games, like you mentioned, an 8th inning, 5-run 8th inning on Tuesday, and then obviously the Cayden Wallace walk-off last night, which brings us into our next topic here. Let's just talk about the game last night. Cayden Wallace comes in. The Braves enter the 9th inning down a run. They're down 7-6 at the time, and then come back. Kristen Knapczyk drives in Colby Thomas, who really, depending on who you ask, really shouldn't have been on third base at the time. Mm-hmm. I think it was ruled an error in the book. I think it was an error. That ball goes high up into the sky. It was dropped by the left fielder. I mean, Colby did hit it hard. He did hit to the warning track. But anyway, Colby Thomas ends up on third base. Infield comes in. Kristen Knapczyk drives him in. And then the Braves get 2 outs. And you're looking like, is this going to be another tie, the 4th tie of the season? But Cayden Wallace comes up to the plate, immediately falls in an 0-2 count, but battles back and gets a knock over the right fielder's head for the Braves to win that game last night.
Yeah, I initially had that the Braves lost 7-6. I had the tweet typed out with a little kind of headline of what happened, and then I had the tweet typed out that they tied, ended 7-7, and then I had to change it yet again to make it an 8-7 game.
Life of a beat reporter.
It's brutal. I mean, absolutely brutal. Yeah. Not to mention changing the whole story around too. But the Braves have made me do that multiple times this year, and 98% of the time it's been in the Braves' favor. They're coming back late in games. They're making plays in the 8th inning, the 9th inning, doing things that you would not expect. That was a game last night that felt like a loss.
Yep.
And I mean, I feel like any other team in the league, it might have been a loss, but still, to come back like that in the bottom of the 9th, I don't care what team you're playing, it's tough. So the resilience that this Braves team has shown, not just last night, not just in this 3-game series, but through the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the season, has been nothing short of impressive, and that's why they have 14 wins.
I can't think of a situation in where you would have changed the Braves ending to be negative, you're writing-wise.
I don't think there has been one.
Because you said 98% of the time, but I think it's 100%, right? Because
I think it might be 100%.
Right? They're down to Katua at 2-0. That game was never really a comeback. Happened. Katua didn't take a lead back from the Braves. And the same thing with Chatham. Chatham jumped out to a big lead early, and that game didn't come back. And even with the ties, the Braves were down 2-1 in Orleans. The Braves were down 1-0 to Harwich. They were down 3-2 to Chatham. And the wins, like you mentioned, the comeback wins, Hyannis are the ones, the back-to-back games that really jump out at you. But there's others in there where this Braves team has battled back, and they've shown resiliency all season, really.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like, I think that was one thing everyone was kind of concerned about at the beginning of the year. How will this team respond to being down,
Yeah,
especially being down late? Because, well, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like the first 60 innings of the year they didn't trail, something crazy like that. Um, so everyone was like, all right, this team is obviously great. If you don't trail for 60 innings, that's pretty darn good to start the season. But they're not going to go. Well, let me do the math here. 40 times 9 is 360. You're not going to go
the math.
360 innings of. Thank you very much. You're not going to go 360 innings of not trailing. So it was kind of the question: how is this team going to respond to a little bit of adversity once it hits them? And they responded great. 2 losses at this point in the year. I think any team would take that. I know Hyannis would, that's for sure. But Bourne's just been great. I mean, it's really, you can pick so many things about this team that have been so impressive. I think with their record, the resiliency part of it kind of comes to the forefront because there's been a lot of games now that they've had to battle back late in games and even in the ninth inning, and they've done it pretty much every time.
Well, I'm gonna pick one thing to rave about, right? You said I can't do it, but I'm going to, and that's
Do
Cayden
it.
Wallace. That's Cayden Wallace because he's been so good over his last couple of games, right? Comes in from Arkansas, hits a home run on one of the first games he played in, and then he went a little bit cold, but since then has been great. What's his hitting streak up to? 7 games now?
Six.
6 games, a 6 game hitting streak. You look at his games for the past 2 games: 2 hits, 1 hit, 2 hit. Right, the guy he's rakes right now. He is what he was at Arkansas this year, which is a special, special talent.
At the beginning of the season when he first got out here, he was doing fine. It was just more of a quiet, kind of under the radar uh, performance from him that we'd see kind of on a nightly basis. And then there were a few games in there that, you know, he was a little bit quiet. And I mean, he's been on base in 13 to 14 games he's played, whether that be a hit or a walk. Um, so he's always kind of been finding a way to get on base. But these past 6 games, he's just been kind of the centerpiece of this Bourne offense. And it's not like he's just getting singles to the opposite field that he's kind of dropping in perfectly. I mean, this is a guy that is getting extra base hits galore. I think he has 5 doubles in those 6 games. For some reason, I think they ruled last night's walk-off hit a double,
They
but
did.
that's definitely a single,
I agree, but
I
yeah,
believe. Yeah, because I watched the video. I mean, he didn't even Napchek was definitely around to score before he even touched second. So I'm not sure. I had tweeted out the stat today about his 6 game hit streak. I didn't rule it a double. So if you want to rule that a double,
that's
like the
Nick
book
Galle
says,
stats. Nick Galle
I
stats.
made I made the call there. If you want to rule it a double, technically he has 6 in his last 6 games, but really it's like 5. I mean, that was a walk-off single last night. It would have been a double if it wasn't the bottom of the ninth and the winning run wasn't coming around, but
Yeah,
um,
or a triple.
or a triple, honestly. So yeah, I mean he's not getting cheap hits. I mean, they're all legitimate hits. He is tearing it up right now, and you just have to hope he carries this momentum.
He's been really, really good for this Braves team. 2 RBIs last night, 2 RBIs the game before, and they both came in very clutch situations. Cayden Wallace has been exceptional. His defense has played too. He made a great catch in Chatham. He made great
Yeah.
catch tonight in Hyannis. He's been all over the field. He's been really, really good. And him along with Max Anderson are two guys you look at and say, I don't see a logical situation where you can take either of them out of the lineup.
I think I throw Dalton Rushing in that conversation now too,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
been incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you have?
Don't
Another?
rushing another 3 hit night last night.
Yeah.
He got intentionally walked in the bottom of the ninth inning.
If you're getting intentionally walked in the Cape Cod Baseball League,
Granted,
by
granted, the count was in his favor.
it was, but
And first
still,
was open
exactly,
with 2 out.
but still, I mean, I don't think Hyannis is playing for a championship now. They're, I think they might be out of
I'm
it.
playing to lose.
They're not playing to lose, but that is, we haven't seen that all year. No, either side, no one's been intentionally walked. That was the
Yeah,
first intentional walk we have seen all year,
I would
and
have done it, 100%.
oh, I would have done it too. But I mean, that just goes to show you the respect that Dalton Rushing has from opponents now. And I mean, this guy is still a guy that's young. I mean, not draft eligible this year,
Yep.
but I mean, this is a guy. Honest to God, I think this is going to be a guy that when he is draft eligible, he's going to be like top 3 rounds, top
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
I mean, this
I,
guy
I
has
think
been.
if he continues to perform the way he did at Arkansas back in Arkansas this year, I think that is a slam dunk. He'll be a top 5 round pick. I think there's no question about that.
You talking about Wallace or rushing?
I'm talking about Wallace. Are you talking about
Oh, I'm talking about rushing.
okay, rushing? You think rushing if he continues going the way he
Okay, I will say Wallace top 5, top 3 pick as well.
yeah,
Not
yeah, no
not
doubt.
top
Yeah,
3
yeah,
overall, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean rounds wise.
Yeah.
But I honestly think if rushing keeps trending in the
Okay.
direction he's going, I
Yeah.
can see him. I mean, this kid's gonna be a ball player.
He
I
hits the
mean,
ball. He hits the ball very, very hard. Even the other night where he was 1 for 4, came back to the dugout. A little frustrated, 1 for 4 night, but he hit the cover off the ball. He was just hitting it allowed out. So it seems like every time Dalton Rushing makes contact, he hits it really hard.
I mean, yeah, it's just like he's had a lot of hits that have been robbed too. I know we talked about that a few times on before the Bravos. Just balls that he has absolutely ripped to the
Yeah,
first base side, and they've made great plays on defense to kind of take those hits away. But still, I mean, he is a guy that when he is on, he's your 3-hole hitter, 24/7. Never a doubt.
you
I
can
mean, great, great
when
in
he
the 3-hole.
you can sandwich him right between Max Anderson and Cayden Wallace.
Yeah, and now it's like I think everyone was kind of like, okay, Reggie Crawford's gone.
Yep.
What is this lineup going to look like now? Anderson, rushing, Wallace, that 2-3-4, and then if you get Wimmer at 5, Wimmer has been fantastic as well. That 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I like both Knapczyk and Lampy in the leadoff spot. I mean, you put whoever you want there.
Yeah.
But 2 through 5, I think it. I know it's not going to be, but I think it should just be the same every night. Anderson, rushing, Wallace, Wimmer.
Well,
I would love
and
that.
you say that, but it's starting to get more consistent, the lineup,
It is.
as we go further down the season.
It is.
So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility that we see a set 2 through 5 coming up here quite soon, actually. So that'll be interesting to see how the lineup plays out. It'll be very interesting to see if Reggie Crawford comes back to the Cape. There's been speculations both sides whether he is going to be making the trip back here once Team USA is done.
I have gotten no official word on it.
Okay.
I have no.
What's your hunch? What are your people saying?
I have heard that he will not be coming back.
I've heard both sides. I have.
I've heard both sides as well. But I have more reason to believe that he will not be coming back. If he does, I would be surprised.
Okay.
Which is understandable
He's got to give
because
his jersey back. I mean, he's got to give his jersey back. So
he'll be back. He'll be back, but will he be playing? That's what I don't know.
it'll be interesting to see because if he comes in, he's obviously going to be hitting the middle of the order anyway. So he'll keep rushing in there. You'll keep the same core. You'll keep Anderson rushing, Wallace, and then Wimmer, and then you add Reggie Crawford to the mix. It just gets even better. But we'll see if Reggie decides to play back in the Cape or just calls it a summer after Team USA. I've heard both sides. If I had to pick, I would agree with you that I don't know if he'll be playing when he comes back. Another big thing that happened this past week was the MLB draft, and a bunch of guys go. The pitching staff was hit the hardest. Gordon Graceffo gone, Nick Swack gone, Peter Van Loon gone. Right, a couple of position players. Colton Bender really hurts this team right now because now you got Dalton Rushing, who's really a primary first baseman who can catch, as your every other day catcher, and obviously Peter Burns. So this Braves team is going to need to pick up another catcher and need to pick up another catcher pretty fast and more pitching as well because now you're down 3 starters. Kyler Fedko goes too, but the outfield has had the depth where they're able to play Colby Thomas, Brandon Limmer can play left field, Cayden Wallace, Joe Lampy. So they still have guys in the outfield that can play, but the pitching staff depleted, and that's the big question going forward. What is this pitching staff going to look like, and do they have the arms now to continue the hot start they were off to?
They're gonna have to bring in more arms, I think. But
I think
with
so.
that being,
They definitely need quantity. The quantity is not a question, but you can bring in quantity all you want. It's just, can the guys? They don't need to be Gordon Graceffo because that's impossible to ask someone to come in and dominate like Gordon Graceffo did. But can you be good enough to let the offense stay in games?
Well, I think we've seen it so far. Jake Bennett was obviously
Well,
good enough.
Jake Bennett's been here, and he's been very good all season.
Exactly.
So it's not a
So
question.
you're saying the guys coming in, can they be
I'm saying the guys coming in, but also
guys changing roles?
Ken Turner, got his first start of the season last night. Was good, was very efficient. Got a lot of first pitch outs, a lot of ground ball outs. He threw 4 innings last night, but coming into the game, he only had thrown 6 1/3 all season.
Mm-hmm.
So is Ken Turner going to be a mainstay in the rotation? We saw Ben Etheridge get his first start of the season on Tuesday. Is he going to be a mainstay in this rotation? There's just a lot of question marks, right? Ben Etheridge got his first start. Jordan Patty got his first relief appearance. Andrew Taylor's now gone for the summer. So it's not that can they perform. It's, the new guys. Can the new guys come in and perform? It's just what are the roles going to look like for this bullpen coming forward and this pitching staff coming forward? Because right now, there's a ton of question marks.
Ton of question marks, and I think guys are still going to get kind of sorted out here to see what their roles are going to be. I will say, I watched before the Bravos last night when I got home. Just to recap, I nailed the relief order. Not so much the innings, because obviously things were scattered around a little bit. Again, depending on the score, but it was Turner, Eknis, Lovett, and then Adler. And Bowers was in there too. He came in.
I don't think you mentioned Bowers, did you?
I did not mention Bowers. I will say that. I did not mention Bowers.
It looked good. Looked good. He did.
Looked very good. I mean, he looked.
Fastball definitely plays. He has a very good fastball. He's had some question marks with accuracy, but over his first 2 appearances for the Braves, he's been very, very solid.
Debut was at Chatham.
Yep.
And I think he walked the first guy he faced on four pitches.
Yep.
And then calmed right down and looked much better last night. So I like what I've seen from him so far. With him, I think it's just kind of, toning his mechanics a little bit because he has a frame. I mean, the guy's 260 pounds. He has the leverage. What is he, like 6'5", 6'6", 260?
Yeah.
6'5", 260. So you have the leverage there. With that frame, it's just about getting your mechanics down, getting your consistency down. Once you have that, you're going to be dominant. So I'm looking forward to see how he grows here on the Cape, here in Bourne. And that is a solid. I don't know if he's going to be a middle relief guy like a Sansone type piece where he comes in, pitches 4 innings.
He will be. I think
But yeah, great late reliever though. Great late reliever, and I could see him kind of being one of these guys that comes in for 1 inning. You maybe stretch him to 2 if you need to, but in the back half of games, if you can get 1 out of Lovett, 1 out of Bowers, 1 out of Adler, 7, 8, 9, that's a pretty good back half of the bullpen.
But you still need to continue with those piggyback starts like the Braves have been
undoubtedly.
Right? And you look at Ken Turner gave you the most innings he's thrown all season. Josh Eknis, he only went 1 1/3, I believe, but still, you'd like to get more length out of him because there's not a lot of guys out there that go 1 inning. Because you look at the Braves bullpen, right? It's Olin and Sansone. In a perfect situation, they go 4 innings, 5 innings, or 5 innings, 4 innings, right? They get through, like, you got Jake Bennett and Cole Chudoba matched up, and that worked perfectly the other night where Cole Chudoba finished the game through 4 innings after Jake Bennett went 5. You don't need another guy in the back end of the bullpen. So those piggyback starters, they both got to pitch well because at this point in the season, I don't know if we're to see it all year where a guy goes out and throws 8 innings. Like, I don't expect a Brave starter to throw more than 5 innings this year the way it's set up. Do you?
I don't either. No.
So
I can never picture that.
So you're going to rely on 2 guys, and the pairings work perfectly, right? Because I mentioned you got Olin Sansone, you got Tristan Vreeling backing up. Who is he pitching behind? He pitched the other night.
He pitched behind Christoforo in Wareham.
Behind
Parsley, was it?
Parsley, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Parsley and Vreeling. You got Olin Sansone. In a perfect situation, you got Turner, if he's going to be your 5th starter, and Eknis. You got Bennett with Chudoba. And you have Etheridge. And who pitched behind Etheridge? Was it Cade Smith?
Etheridge started against Hyannis, right, the other day?
Yes.
Wow. I think Cade Smith came in later. Man, see the schedule. It's getting long.
Play the hits. Yeah, they all come together. I don't know what's happening. I'm Nick.
Are you looking it up right now?
I'm not looking it up. I'm talking to you.
Man. Yeah, I forget who came in after Etheridge.
I'll bail you out. It was Jordan Patty. So
It was
that's
Jordan Patty. Oh, yes, he took the line drive off the wrist.
yes. So it was Etheridge and Patty. So those are your 10 starters, right? And they're all piggybacking. But there's gonna be nights like last night where Ken Turner gives you 4 solid innings, but Eknish can only give you an inning in a third. So that's where you're gonna need to use the arms in the bullpen. But if that happens back-to-back nights, that could be where things get a little dicey.
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, you need to get some more arms in there, and that's kind of why I want to see starters maybe go a little longer. And they might have to now with the situation of the bullpen, depending on outcomes of games, scores, how long games go, if guys get shaken up a little bit. And I'm trying to think here. I know Graceffo went 5 innings in Wareham.
Yep.
I know Zwack had an outing where he went 5
Jake
innings.
Bennett went 5 innings
Jake Bennett.
on Tuesday. Yeah.
So Jake Bennett has been the only starter to go 5 innings in an appearance where it wasn't going to be his last confirmed. Like, we're assuming Jake Bennett makes another start.
Stone went 5 innings on Sunday.
Not starting though.
Not starting. No.
I'm talking about starters. Graceffo, Zwack, and Bennett have been the only 3 to go 5 or more innings. And Zwack and Graceffo, like, we knew that was going to be their last start.
Yes.
So it was kind of a move, like what it seemed like to me was a move by Harvey Shapiro that was like, all right, this is your last start. I'm going to keep you 5 innings so you can try and get a win here.
Yeah.
Hopefully the offense gives you guys runs.
Mm-hmm.
And Zwack, did he go 5 innings in the Katuitt game where they lost?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no offensive support there for Zwack, but Graceffo got. Did Graceffo didn't even get the win in that game, did he?
He did.
Did they score in the? Because I know Fedco brought along.
I think
I thought it was a 6th.
Okay, well, they won the game. Gordon Graceffo.
They won the game. I think Vreeland got the win though. So yeah, it's very rare to see a starter go 5 innings, and I think we're gonna need.
Yeah, Vreeland did get the win.
Vreeland got the win.
No, Graceffo got the win because they scored in the bottom. They scored in the top of the 6th inning. So technically, Graceffo.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, Graceffo got the win there just because he got run support, and it was literally in the last inning that Bourne could score for him to get the win.
Yep.
So really the only time we see a guy go 5 innings is when they're on their way out, which is,
I mean, so far, but like you said, Jake Bennett, I think we're at the point of the season where we're going to start seeing guys go 5 innings if Coach Shapiro thinks they're pitching well enough.
And we have seen guys go into the 5th, just not recording out, and they come out.
But like I mentioned, Sansone threw 5 innings. He came in a relief, but like
I want to see a starter go like 7-8 innings though.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see it.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what colleges are saying too, what college coaches are saying in terms of innings.
Yeah.
So obviously, suppose Harvey Shapiro gets a guy that he knows can throw no more than 15 innings. You're not gonna put him out there 8 innings, 1 start, because boom, half of his eligibility is gone.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of mix it up. You can get 5 3-inning starts out of him, or basically like an 8-inning start in a 7-inning. So you kind of want to split it. I think that's personally what I think is going on. That's probably college coaches are kind of, dictating things which is how it is in summer ball. You only have these guys for so long and for so many innings. So
well, it'll be very interesting to see how the pitching situation shakes up here. Let's look at the schedule ahead for the Braves. They're in Yarmouth to play YD tomorrow at 5. Then they're at Wareham on Saturday. Back home at Doran to play Katuitt on Sunday. Then Falmouth at home on Monday. In Harwich Tuesday. Home against Falmouth again on Wednesday. What's a game that sticks out to you there and you're looking forward to the most?
I'd say home against Falmouth on Wednesday, just because of the nature of Bourne's offense against the Commodores.
Well, they played Falmouth twice in that stretch. They played Falmouth Monday and Wednesday, both at home.
I like the Wednesday one. I mean, you can pick either one, but I'm liking the Wednesday one, Calvin.
All right.
midweek, a little midweek matchup.
All right. Well,
Who looks forward to a Monday?
hello.
Not me. Not me.
Okay.
Looking forward to Wednesday.
I mean, for me, that's a slam dunk. I'm looking at the Katuitt game. I have that circled. Katuitt on Sunday. Last time they were at Doran, they beat the Braves 2-0. Katuitt beat Wareham twice. They beat them on Monday. They beat them yesterday. So they're nestled alone now in second place behind the Braves in the West. So I'm looking at the game against the Cavaliers because Katuitt's been the one team that's kind of given the Braves trouble a little bit this season.
Yeah.
The loss, they were down in that rainout game. The Braves were, no doubt in my mind, going to come back and win, but they were still losing in that game at the time. So let's see how the Braves if they can battle back and come back and beat the Cavaliers, another team that's kind of been hurt by the draft, but so is everyone. If the draft moved back this year, it's tough. Bringing in guys mid-season. Katuitt's depleted. The Braves pitching staff is depleted, so it'll be interesting. But that'll be a very good game on Sunday after the Braves go to YD and after the Braves come back from Spillane in Wareham.
Undoubtedly. I mean, I've said undoubtedly like 25 times during this podcast. I realize that now. So I'm going to switch up the word choice for next episode. Don't worry. But yeah, this upcoming schedule here, really the whole season, the schedule's kind of been like home game, away game, home game, away game, home game, away game. There's really been no stands. There was that one road stand or the road trip to begin the season.
Yep.
Yep. And then there was a home stand, but a couple of those games were, or a lot of those games were either rained out.
It's been like 2 home, 2 away.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't really been a lot to settle. So we see kind of more of that this upcoming week. And Bourne's been really good at responding to that and playing. They've played so well on the road.
Yeah.
Arguably better, not even arguably, they played better on the road than they have at Doran Park.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I know a great way to end these podcasts.
Okay. Yep.
We each ask each other a question. It's got to be a unique one.
Okay.
Doesn't even have to be baseball related, but so the people at home can get to know us better.
Okay. You want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, go ahead.
If I almost said if you were one pizza topping, what would you be? But then it hit me that makes zero sense.
Okay. You, Nick?
Let me think of a good one here. I want to make sure it's good, it's unique. Between elementary and high school, or like elementary, middle school, and high school.
Yeah.
Who is your best teacher and why?
Man, that's a tough question.
A lot of options,
There is a lot of options. Is it bad that I'm struggling to remember his name? I know his first name. I'm trying to think of his
Sounded
last
like a great teacher then.
What?
Wow.
No, I know his first name. I'm trying to figure out his last name.
You call him by his first name?
No, that's the problem.
That's a little bizarre then.
What?
It's a little weird then that you only remember his first name.
I know it's weird. I know it's weird. Let me settle on that here while I ask you a question. As I remember his name. It's gonna kill me now. You put me.
Oh, was it Mr. Jenkins?
No. Thank you. Trying to help me, but it wasn't.
That was just a toss up. I had no idea.
Yeah. What's his name? It's gonna kill me. So I'm gonna toss it over to you. See, now I gotta think of a question.
Yeah, I really put you on the spot with this because for the people listening, we did not think of this idea. It literally popped up in my mind like 5 minutes ago. I was like, that's a good way to end.
Yeah. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
You have to think of this because, you got to think of this reasonably because if you go with your favorite, most people go with the favorite food, right? But if you do that, it's not going to be your favorite anymore. So you have to go with a consistent food and something you can change. Now, can I change up the food a little bit? Or does it have to be the same thing every single time?
If you can only eat one food for the rest of your life.
All right. Well, like if I say pizza, I could put different toppings on the pizza, but does it have to be specific? Like
Yeah, it has to be like pepperoni pizza.
Okay, all right. One food for the rest of my life. I would honestly go steak tips, I think.
Okay. Okay, we've gone to a restaurant together and you've ordered steak tips. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, it was the place in Wareham, right?
Yes. So that makes a lot of sense.
What was it? Stonebridge? Was that what it was called?
I forget the name of it. But I got my teacher. You know,
Okay.
I knew his first name. I knew his first name. Mr. Snyder in high school.
Did you have to Google him?
No, I didn't. No,
It sounds like I think you Googled him.
I might have Googled him. Mr. Snyder. Mr. Snyder. I was thinking, I knew his last name started with an S, but I was thinking of a guy with the same first name that a different last name that started with an S, so I got all crossed up. Mr. Snyder, my junior year AP Calculus teacher, great teacher, helped me get some college credit out of that class. So
Nice.
that's Mr. Snyder. You would eat steak tips. Mr. Snyder's my guy. This concludes Bravos Banter is the name of our podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered. I'm glad you remembered.
First episode of Bravos Banter. We will be back hopefully next off day or maybe a day in between. We might try to get some guests on and try to see what we can do with this podcast. But hope this got you through your off day. The Braves are back on the road tomorrow at Red Wilson Field to take on YD at 5 o'clock. We hope you enjoy that game. We hope you enjoy this week's of Braves baseball, and we'll catch you next time.